Good afternoon, Mr. Rovers. How are you? Mr. Rovers, you get the officer, you need to unmute your mic.
What about now?
Sounds great.
Good, good.
Good afternoon too, sir.
Good. Mr. Rovers, would you please give us your full name and your Department of Corrections ID?
Wynand Rovers DOC number 615613.
Thank you, Mr. Rovers. My name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Ms. Bonnie Jackson. To my right is Mr. Keith Freeman. Let me explain the process to you. I will read some information in the record. We'll verify that information, and then we'll give the officer at Franklin Parish a chance to make comments. And then we have some guests present. We have a friend, Ms. Anita Seabrook, and she would like to make a statement. And we also have the victim's mother, Ms. Sarah Granier, and she would like to make a statement. After the statements, before we vote, we'll give you an opportunity to make a brief statement on your behalf. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Officer, would you like to tell us anything about Mr. Rovers?
Sir, I've known Mr. Rovers since he's gotten here. We haven't had no issues with him, no write-ups, anything like that. He does work in our law library here.
Great. Mr. Rovers, your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you please answer Mr. Freeman's questions?
Yes, sir.
Rovers, how old are you?
I am 43 years old, sir.
Okay, how long have you served on this sentence?
I have served 10 years and 2 months.
What's your educational level?
Some college education. That's my highest level, some college education.
Mr. Rovers, tell me what happened. Is that your niece or you were her stepfather? Victim.
I was a boyfriend to the victim's mother. I was just a guardian, as you would say.
Okay, well, tell me what happened and tell me the truth. I got all the reports. I just want to see what you have to say.
Sir, I'm not going to deny any reports. I definitely tried to touch the victim. Multiple times I did touch her. I did it out of selfishness. I did it because I have a problem. I have a problem with a sexual disorder that been battling now for a long time. And I think about everything that's happened, especially I think about the bravery of what the victim Elizabeth did to be able to come out and say about what I was doing, because I know that takes courage to do that. And at the time, I was selfish. I didn't care about anybody. I lied about the reason why I was being in a relationship with the mother, Sarah Granier, just to make up that I was a cancer victim, just to be able to be with her for my own selfish reasons, for my own selfish desires. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about Elizabeth at all. I didn't care about Sarah. I didn't care about my mother. I didn't care about my ex-wife. The only thing I wanted to do was satisfy my gratifications for sexual desire.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You said, you know, you understand you're sick and it's a disease. What are you doing and what are you gonna do to make sure this never happens again?
Well, sir, I have been taking many programs. I took Celebrate Recovery. Recently, I did take the victim impact awareness, and I did take the cognitive distortion sexual treatment program. from what I've seen, sir, and what I know, every single day, waking up is a reminder to me of what I've done to other people. I think about every single day how this has affected everybody, and even after my death, it's going to affect other people. It's a non-rippling effect. And my main motivation every single day is to do whatever I can to make right choices, to never be put in that situation again, to put anyone in that situation again. I know there's nothing I can do about the thoughts, but there's things I can do about the actions.
Okay. All right, what's your transition plan? Where are you gonna live?
My transition plan, sir, is if I am released, I plan to return back to my mother's in Massachusetts through interstate compact. If that is not the case, there is other family members to be able to go to. In case that is not available, I do have a transition specialist here who is willing to help me find assistance to get back in the community. And I do have a mother who is able to financially support me as well.
Staff, does he have any detainers in Texas? Do we know?
According to, no,
According to report, no.
right,
Okay. I don't know where I saw that. Okay, you completed all phases of the sex offender program. You also taken numerous other classes. What class you took that you got the most out of?
The sex offender program, sir.
I think you've explained to us why you got the most out of that one already. Your risk is low, your needs are low. Warden says you hadn't been a problem there. How long has he been there, Warden?
We're not exactly on the date he's been here.
I came here March 11th to participate in the class.
That was 2003?
2012, I mean, 2022, sir. March of
Okay.
22.
He come up from Concordia Parish.
That is correct. Yes, I was a trustee there, and the transition specialist was able to open an opportunity to participate in that class.
Have further questions?
Mrs. Jackson.
So, Mr. Rovers, do you believe that the urge that led you to commit this crime is going to be with you forever?
Ma'am, to be honest with you, I can't honestly answer that question. I can't say if it will or not. But what I can do is prevent it. I'm sorry.
What do you think? Seems like it's a pretty strong urge.
It is a very strong urge, ma'am. It's a very strong thought pattern. It's a very strong urge. And
How long have you had those urges and that thought pattern?
ma'am, I would definitely have to say, since I was probably around 20 years old.
So, how do you think you're going to be able to control that thought pattern, those urges?
Well, one way, ma'am, is to participate in programs, to participate in church, to find good people that I can combine to that whenever.
Sometimes churches are fertile, shall we say, hunting grounds.
That is correct, ma'am. You're right about that.
I'm trying to figure out what specific tools have you learned to fall back on when you find yourself, as you probably will, having those thoughts and urges. How are you going to deal with that in the moment as it comes up?
Well, ma'am, if those urges do come out, those urges do come about, first thing I would definitely contact is my mother who I'd be living with, I would contact, I be honest with you, ma'am, the first person I would contact is God. God is
Again, okay, when you took your sex offender treatment program, didn't they talk to you about the kinds of things that would trigger a person to act on those? Put you in a position or trigger you to act out, and we'll call them your fantasies. I mean, give me something concrete. Your mom can't help you. I mean, first of all, most people are gonna call their mom and tell, Mom, I think I'm gonna go molest a child. That's the kind of thing you would wanna hide from your mom.
Yeah, I agree, ma'am.
I'm trying to figure out what techniques, what tools have you learned to prevent you from acting on urges that we both know you're going to have again. So tell me some specific things that they taught you so that you don't end up reoffending.
Well, ma'am, I know in the phase 3 of the program, they had a lot of scenarios that they went through, different types of scenarios where, where offenders were released and they experienced different type of situations. As if someone was attempted to go to a park and seek a victim, or if someone, a victim was coming into their house. And they talked about the high, low, and low, medium, and risk factors about identifying when a situation comes up, to identify how that situation is going to be. The one thing I know is that to always to make sure to be in a low risk situation. So to answer your question, if I am faced with that situation, is to isolate myself, to make sure that I'm by myself, that I'm not around any victims. Or if I am around a potential victim, to be sure that I'm not alone, to be around other people as well, to discourage me from even trying to persuade to attempt to molest a child. That is the techniques that we learned in the class.
Well, I like chocolate. And even though I know maybe I shouldn't be around it, I got chocolate in my house. You see what I mean? Let me ask you another. Do you know why you have those urges? Let's try it that way. Do you know why you have those urges, where those urges came from for you?
Ma'am, if I believe it's because of my obesity. It was because of my obesity that I wasn't able to find women to be attracted to find sexually. And the only woman I ever had was my wife at the time. And the next person who showed any kind of remote or any type of attraction to me was Miss Sarah Granier. And I remember at a time she said she didn't want to have the relationship with me. We had a long distance relationship and I didn't want that to happen. I still wanted to have her. I still wanted to be with her. I didn't care about anything else except wanting to have that attraction, having that intimacy. So I did anything in my possibility, manipulate, lie, deceive, put everyone, as we say, underneath the bus to get what I needed. But then when I moved in with Sarah.
Let me ask you this. If you had a wife, why did you feel like you weren't in a relationship that was sexually gratifying if you had a wife? I'm just trying to understand.
Because my wife specifically told me that she was not physically attracted to me, that she was just having sex out of obligation as a wife. And that was a devastating thing for me.
Listen, did you ever make any efforts to take control of your health and your weight and, do things that if not would make you more attractive, it would certainly make you healthier.
Yes, that is correct, ma'am. That is correct. I know before I came to Louisiana, I told Sarah that I was gonna go get gastric bypass, and I guess I was believing this lie so much that I actually got gastric bypass surgery. And I did lose a lot of weight from the gastric bypass surgery. But even as my weight loss happened, even though I lost the weight, there was a still notion that I wanted people to accept me. I wanted someone to accept me in any way, shape, or form. And I noticed when I came to Louisiana that Elizabeth, the victim, didn't really want to accept me. And I just didn't take it because I was coming to Louisiana. I wanted her to like me. I wanted her to love me. I wanted her to see me as a father figure. And in my own mindset, in my own way, I was willing to do anything possible to get that from her, if that including sexually molesting her. And it wasn't only until then said and done, coming to realization that that was a monster, an absolute monster.
Do you think your crime has affected Elizabeth?
In so many ways, shapes, and forms, I can't even imagine.
Well, you don't have to imagine. I'm sure that's something they talked about in your sex offender treatment program.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sure it's affected how she's viewed men, how she, how she deals sexually with partners or whoever she's with, how she can trust men, having anyone in her life, how that affects her, how she can't even have a difficult time trusting, to always be cautious. Always maybe thinking that what happened to her was her fault, thinking that everything that happened to her was because of her.
All right, well, thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Freeman.
I just want to state for the record that the district attorney is opposed, Sheriff Craig Weber is opposed. The chief of police, Brian Zarang, is unopposed. And we didn't speak with your mother, but the victims also and their family are strongly opposed. I just want to put that on the record.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. At this time, would Ms. Anita Seabrook open your mic and give us your statement?
Yes, and for the record, my name is Anita Durrett. Zoom meetings. My name is Anita Durrett, and I am Wynand Rovers' friend. I met Wynand at the First Baptist Church in Holliston, Mass, where I attended services with my husband and family. Wynand was probably about 12 years old at the time, and I am friends with Wynand's mother, Becky Rovers. Although at the time I was not so close to the family, I could tell that Wynand did not have an easy upbringing. When Wynand married, we sort of lost touch. All during his teenage years, I tried to keep my eye on him and mentor him as I could. When I heard he had been arrested, I was moved to begin to write him. I'm also a recovered victim of childhood sexual abuse. I wanted to do whatever I could to make sure that Wynand would not offend again whenever he was released from prison. I'm also a committed Christian. I believe in healing for Wynand and for his victim. My life is a testimony to the ability to be healed. I also believe in accountability. The past 9+ years, I have been Wynand's friend and accountability partner. I have tried many times to find a male to write to him and be part of his life, unfortunately to no avail. Over this time, I've seen a lot of changes in Wynand. I would describe him growing up as a very emotionally immature young adult. He became active in a recovery program, Celebrate Recovery, while in prison. I happen to be also a recovered alcoholic of 32 years of sobriety, so I'm very familiar with addicts. In our writings and telephone calls, Wynand has always taken full responsibility for his actions. I have found that unusual because most addicts don't do that unless they work in a program of recovery, which I believe Wynand is. When the service of the Celebrate Recovery became unavailable to him, our writings became meetings and letters. We've done Bible study together. We have also had hard conversations about childhood sexual abuse. It was not easy for either of us, but I believe it produced much fruit in both of our recovery. I believe in healing for both the perpetrator and victim. I believe it is a one day at a time program and time commitment. I believe with the continuation of his recovery program, Celebrate Recovery, which is very near his house, his solid relationship with Jesus and our friendship, I believe Wynand will be an asset to society. I plan on continuing my friendship with him, and he plans to go home to take care of his mother, who is not in good health. Thank you for letting me share.
Ms. Juanita, I can only tell what our system recognized you as, and it recognized you as Anita Seabrook.
Seabrook is where I live in New Hampshire.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Can we hear from Sarah Grenier, the victim's mother? Would you please open your mic, identify yourself and your relationship to this hearing?
My name is Sarah Grenier. Elizabeth, the victim, is my daughter.
Can we have your statement?
Thanks. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak regarding the release of Mr. Rovers. Every time he's up for parole, I ask my daughter if she wants to speak or write a statement, and as she does not want to replay trauma from her youth, she decides against it. I don't blame her, and I will continue to speak on her behalf. It has been 10 years since Mr. Rovers was arrested and removed from our home. In that time, Elizabeth has attended and graduated from an elite residential high school, and this Saturday, she will graduate summa cum laude from Nicholls State University with a degree in environmental biology. She finished an entire college degree in only 3 years. She not only finished early, she is also receiving the highest academic honor possible. She starts grad school in the fall, also in biology, and has received a fully paid research grant to cover all of her expenses while earning her master's degree. She wants to be a botanist, which I have learned is a doctor of plants, and I fully support that. She's loved plants her entire teenagehood into adulthood. Overall, she's doing great. She has a core group of friends that are supportive and kind, and she has been dating a guy for about a year now who treats her really well. She still lives with me and will probably do so until she finishes her master's and then enters the workforce. Like with most abuse victims, you can't tell that she's been molested. A snapshot of her current life would show a confident and competent young woman about to turn 21 with the whole world in front of her. But there are little situations that I attribute to her abuse, things like not willing to go to the doctor when the doctor is male. She has flat refused to get a gynecological exam. Whenever she meets with any kind of health care professional, it is look only, don't touch. She will not, have a full pelvic exam. We work through these situations as they present themselves. We are not afraid for ourselves of Mr. Rovers being released. When he was sentenced, our DA told us the best we can hope for is for him to serve 2/3 of his sentence, and he's done that. I fear for other children who may be victimized in the future as the recidivism rate for child sex offenders increases over time. And now that I hear from his own mouth the extent of his need for sexual satisfaction from children, I'm horrified for children who fall in his path upon his release. Whether you decide to release or not, I respect the decision of the parole board. Thank you for once again hearing my statement.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the update on Elizabeth. Mr. Rovers,
Yes, sir.
would you like to make a brief closing statement?
Yes, sir. Sir, for the past, I'm sorry, can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right. Sir, for the past 10 years, when I say I have diligently fought to handle any type of thought, feeling, anything that could trigger any type of emotion that could trigger the sexual dysfunction that is within me. I know that what I have is not curable. There is no cure for it. But what I know I can do is that I can make choices about it. The last thing I want to do is hurt another human being. I don't want to hurt anybody ever again. And I know that's not a plausible cause, but it's something I can strive to do every single day, even while I'm incarcerated or whether I'm out on the street. What I want, my desire is to be a better person, to make better amends for what I've done. I know there's no money can do to change the differences of what I've done. But one thing I do know is that I can live a better life. I can live a better life and I can make better decisions.
Thank you, Mr. Rovers. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Rose, I think you've been totally honest with us today. But, you know, part of my job is to worry about public safety. And you realize the extent of your disease, but I still just have that doubt whether you can control it or not. And that doubt, I just can't get it out my mind. So just due to the public risk of public safety and also victim opposition, I vote to deny.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Jackson?
Mr. Rovers, I think on an intellectual level, you do understand some of the factors that have led to your development. But I'm not sure that you've really dug deep enough into you and acknowledged maybe some things that might have contributed to your desire for children. And I am concerned. I truly am concerned that you still are not equipped to avoid repeating this kind of conduct. There's an uneasiness that I have. And so I just don't feel that you're ready to be released into society. So my concerns are primarily about public safety. And I feel like you need to dig a little deeper, to truly understand why you behave the way you do. Work on your self-esteem so you don't need to resort to this kind of behavior to satisfy your desire to be accepted or loved. And you got to accept of yourself first. And so because of my concerns for public safety, I vote to do.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Rovers, I had a long, drawn-out statement to give you, but Ms. Jackson and Mr. Freeman has summed it up, and I'm not going to repeat everything they say, but my concern major is that you are a risk to public safety, and I'm not about to release you. I vote to deny. We have received 3 votes to deny the request. Day has been denied. You have a good day.
Thank you, sir.